Okay, let me start recording. So, welcome to everybody. We are here for the second event of the day, and from North Macedonia and from our Friends of Education Association, we have Darko Taleski and Zorica Trajanoska. They will have this moment explaining to us what it's about deep diving into stories. And both of them, they have a long year of experiences in pro-social values, especially as teachers or animators. So now it's your word.
Okay, thank you, Stefano. Hello, everyone. As Stefano introduced us, we are teachers from Macedonia, and we are here as representatives of Friends of Education organization from our country. Here by my right side, it's Zorica.
Hello from me. My name is Zorica, and I'm a teacher too in a primary school. And we are lucky with Darko because we come from the same town, and we can speak together, and we had all the time to prepare the workshop together. So we can start by the presentation now.
I will share my screen now, and I have to turn off the camera because some of the parts of the presentation maybe will be covered with it. So okay, can you see the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. So the title of our workshop is Deep Diving into the Stories, and it's about teaching young students through the storytelling. So this workshop was planned to be realized with students from 7 to 10 years old in a primary school in Spain during the international multiple event part of the Erasmus Plus project for social values. But unfortunately, because of the lockdown and all the situation with COVID, we will try to bring the idea of the workshop through this presentation. So this presentation is separated in the 4 sections. The first one is the objectives of the presentation of the workshop. The second one is workshop development. The third one is reflection. And in the end, we have the conclusion of the workshop. So let's start with the objectives of this workshop. So objectives of the workshops are getting high pro-social values through telling stories. Respect and appreciate cultural diversities, getting beginner level knowledge for illustrating stories, connects what is read to real life experience, and reading as a tool for developing critical thinking skills. On the second part is about how we plan to develop the workshop, and I'm giving the speech to Zorica.
In this part of the workshop, our idea was to introduce the students, the children, with the main characters, the animals, Cyril and Pat. These names are for the 2 animal friends, looking very similar, but in fact they are very different. Cyril rhymes with squirrel, and Pat rhymes with rat. At the same time, students see illustrations made by other students. In our case, because primary schools and secondary schools in Macedonia are still closed, we will start to work on 1st of October, And we engaged only one student to make this illustration to help us show you our idea about this workshop. So these illustrations show the place where Cyril lives, a national park, and there he met his best friend, the dirty, thieving, but at the same time brave and clever Pat the rat. These are in fact features that are familiar with all rats, and on the other side with all squirrels. The students are introduced with Cyril and Pat's friendship. Their favorite games, they play all day long, and the other animals that live in the park, like ducks, pigeons, one dog. And in this part, students will develop emotions through these two characters. And at the same time, they will realize the different perceptions of the different animals living in the park. From this point, I will start to retell you the story. The title of the story is Cyril and Pat. This drawing shows you the place, the environment where this story takes place. It's a national park. It's the name of the Lake Park is the name of the park. And Lake Park only had one squirrel, all alone and sad. Poor Cyril. Until the morning he met Pat, his new best friend, a big, gray squirrel, just like me. Pat and Cyril spent each day thinking up good games to play. They like to put on puppet shows. They test how fast a skateboard goes, and one of their favorite games were hide and seek, and one they called pigeon sneak. As you can see on this illustration, there are 5 pigeons sleeping, and we should be quiet about. We say shh until the moment when Cyril and Pat come, and they say very loudly, "Boo!" And the pigeons, of course, become very angry, and one of them says, "Oh, Cyril, can't you see that your friend Pat is not like you? Your friend is a real joker," says Cyril. At lunchtime, when the ducks were fed, Pat jumped in and took some bread. Of course, that bread was for the ducks, not for Pat, but the duck was very angry and said, "Oh, Cyril, can't you see that your friend Pat is not like you? Your friend is a brilliant sharer." And they both got chased by Slim, the dog. Together, they outwitted him. But the angry dog said, "Oh, Cyril, can't you see that your friend is a clever squirrel and you can't catch us?" shouted Cyril. And at this part, we should stop retelling the story, and we should go. This is a so-called introductory part for the students, and we should divide here the students in 2 groups. Each group is between 5 and 10 students, and the task for the students is to illustrate and animate one part of the story. This activity, we give the students 30 minutes for this activity because the groups are divided, and we give the students a text from the story, a further part of the story, and they have to illustrate that part, the environment of the scene, the characters. They illustrate the emotions, etc. Particularly, the first group has to illustrate a mom and a child who had a visit of the national park when Pat wanted to earn a treat like cereal, but the child screamed very loudly, "I saw a big rat" instead. And the second group has to illustrate and animate the next scene, all his favorite places where Pat and Cyril spend their time together, like skateboarding, puppet shows, but now they are very dull because Pat is gone. They should draw these scenes on a sheet of paper. They should color their drawing, and after that they should animate the scene by using a smartphone or a tablet. So this is the drawing, the complete drawing of one group. You can see a mom with her son. He's holding nuts. He wants to give a treat to a squirrel, not a rat. So at this point, I will continue retelling the story where I stopped. Pat wanted to learn to earn a treat like cereal. Good, by looking very sweet. But no one threw a treat for Pat. Instead of that, he got one loud, "Oh, Mom, I saw a big rat." "A rat? A rat?" said Cyril. The other animals didn't wait a long time to remind him. "Oh, Cyril," the angry pigeon said, "can't you see that your friend Pat is nothing but a dirty rat?" Then the duck came and said, "Quack, quack. Oh, Cyril, can't you see that your friend Pat is nothing but a thieving rat?" And at the end, the dog, Slim, said, "Woof, woof. Oh, Cyril, can't you see it? Facts are facts. Squirrels can't be friends with rats."
Zašto?
Cyril, now back on his own, tried to play their games alone. But when he tried to outrun Slim the dog, things didn't go so well for him. He passed the pond and down the slide, no time to hide. Cyril ran out of the park, into the city, into the dark. Cyril was all alone and scared. Slim, the dog, reminded him that he is alone. "Not quite alone, you stupid squirrel, and not so brave without that rat." But from the darkness came a very loud ahem. "Do you mean me?" said Pat with his angry friends, rats. Lake Park still only has one squirrel, but he isn't alone anymore. Now Cyril lives there with a large gray rat, his brave and clever best friend, Pat. And this is the end of the story, a happy end, of course, because this was a story for children, and they all should have happy endings. In this section, we go through all the story from the beginning, continuing and connecting the two new illustrated and animated parts, and finally finishing the story by reading it and showing the illustrations of the final scenes. So we can conclude that the story ends just like it begins. A national park with one squirrel, but from the beginning was a sad squirrel. At the end, it is a happy squirrel and not alone with her best friend, his best friend.
And on the third part of the workshop is a reflection where we talk about more about the story that we heard from Zorica, and I will switch now the screen because I have to turn on other program to show the drawing and the posters. Okay, now you can see the example of two posters.
In real classroom, we plan to have two posters hanged on the wall. They look similar, two bodies, almost the same, but the posters miss the details. Different details like tails. Darko will try to draw different tails of the both animals. This is the tail of the students will guess that this is the tail of the rat, and the second one is the tail of the squirrel. The second part that is different is mustache. The rats have got long mustache and squirrels don't have. And they've got different shapes of ears. Rats have got bigger ears and squirrels smaller ears. Also, they differ in their color. Rats are dark gray and squirrels are brown. So in this point of the workshop, we should start a discussion with the student or about their differences, including their physical appearance, but also about their personality.
Espera.
So at the end, we have this discussion about what we learned from this workshop and from this activity and from this story. So it is easy to be friends with the people that are the same as us, but we miss out so many wonderful opportunities to have a special relationship when we limit ourselves. Cyril is a lonely square in the Light Lake Park until he meets Pat. Cyril and Pat have such a terrific fun time together and become such great friends. Cyril doesn't even realize that Pat is different from him, but all of the other animals in the park are quick to remind Cyril and Pat is different, and therefore an unsuitable friend for Cyril. In the end, Cyril realized that despite what others say, Ted is a perfect friend for him. And this book could be a good way to start a discussion about how we choose friends, about inclusion, and how differences and diversities can be a good thing. So this is the end of our presentation of the one example of storytelling through the workshop. And we are here to hear some thoughts from you, or if you have some questions. I will stop the presentation and I can turn off the camera. If you have any question.
I think it's very interesting way to introduce the discussion about the differences. As you said, is more about who is seeing the differences. So the others are not the children that are playing. So for them, it can be a very daily example for themselves. So we see many times the children that play to each other just as kids, not minding about the differences, and sometimes there are the adults pointing at those things. So it can be very interesting to use the same activity in the classroom, and also working with the children with the animation and designing and things like this. Thank you. It's been very interesting.
Thank you. We will share our presentation and the story with everyone who likes to use in their classrooms with their students.
Great. I don't know if there is no other questions. Actually, it's been very, very clear and nice. I think that, yes, we can close it here, this workshop, and start with the other one at 7 p.m. So we will have Marina, I think. Yes, am I correct? Yeah. Okay, we will have Elena and Marina with playing and exploring Mars. So with other activities for your wonderful association of teachers, very active. We really love to work with you, because this is just one example of how creative is your group of teachers, and how many great ideas that come from your side. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you.
For all the others, see you later, okay? Thank you.
Bye.
No, perdona.
Tú no tienes apego a la vida. Con una hija de 9 años,
Hello? I can't hear anyone.
Abbiamo finito.
Ok.